Hey, Chris, thanks for joining me.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. Of course, Chris, you are executive producer of the new movie, The Last Supper. Folks can get more information about that at the Last Supper dot movie. It's in theaters March 14th. It's the story of Jesus. Chris, we know you as a singer, a worship leader, and now you're partnering with this new movie about Jesus. How
Mhm.
did you get involved? Why did you want to get involved?
Yeah, exactly right. This is a whole new thing for me. Never done this before, and I've had songs on, in movies or used, but never anything like this. Never partnering with a movie. And it's been really fun. I got involved through music, as you would imagine. That was the first step, and that I was connected with these guys and making this movie. And they're like, "Chris, do you have a song or anything that could work with this?" And so um, I was thinking through that and they said, well, why don't we show you the movie, show you what we're creating here. And I started watching it. I started seeing this early screening, and I was like, wow. I was instantly just like, this is well done. This is like a really high level, which I loved. And then I was thought, this is like, as I watched it, I was like, one of the comments back is like, guys, this is like right on the money. You think this is like so biblically like grounded and biblically accurate and it's just powerful. And so we started talking about, is there more? Is there something more than just a song? Is there a way I could be a part of this in some way and help take this movie to the world, help take it to the people. And so so that's what I've been doing. And then when we start talking about songs, they're like, well, is there a song that we could use? And I said, well, I'd written this song earlier this year of that, and I said, I haven't played it for anybody, but I've got a little demo. I can play it for you. Think it might could work, and I played them this demo. They were like, "This is like exactly the movie," and it's crazy because if you when they watch the movie and that song starts coming up on the end credits, when people watch the movie, they're gonna think I just watched the movie and just wrote the song. I did not even know this movie when I wrote the song, and it's like it was one of those moments where God was putting it together. You had that little God wink of like I'm doing something here. I'm putting the pieces together, and you don't even know it. And so it was just it became a great partnership, and gotten to know the people at the Pinnacle Peak people, Michael Scott, those people are making this. And I was like, wow, these are great people. And this isn't Hollywood. This is like people who really want to help share the gospel and share the love of God with people. And I was like, why would I not want to be a part of this? So it's been exciting just to share and to share with people about this movie and tell people about it.
It was shot in Morocco, like you said there. It's a beautiful film. It's very authentic looking.
Yes.
You have mentioned previously, Chris, that leading worship in Israel, and
Yeah.
standing in the places where Jesus walked really impacted you. How did those
Mhm.
experiences perhaps influence your decision to participate in this film?
Yes. It reminded me when I was watching the film, it instantly took me back to going to Israel, taking this group of people. We had this amazing moment. And if anybody who goes to Israel, they say this a lot, they say that it impacts them. But for me, it was like the black and white page became color. That's the only way I could say it. It was like, wow, everything just came to life in super 3D color. And because you're standing there in all these places. I remember, Michael, I remember standing at the cross where the place where there's a big church built around the cross. There's big churches built around everything, where Jesus was, but this is the place of the cross. And I remember they have a stone that is where they said they laid Jesus when they took him off the cross.
Hmm.
And I just remember standing there in the stone, and people are lined up for hours. And I was looking at every kind of person, and they were every kind of race, culture, age, rich, poor, every color of skin and languages. And I was just seeing, and I looked at our tour guide and I was like, is it like this every day? And he's like, every day. It's just people lined up from all over the world and they're coming to this place where they lay Jesus. And I watched these ladies and they've been standing there for hours and they get to their place and just on their knees, just tears and just kissing the
Wow.
stone. And I was thinking, it was
Mm.
just a picture of heaven. And I was thinking, man, Christianity, it's not American. It's not white. It's not English. It's world. It is the world. It's every language, every tribe, every
Mm.
time. I just got that picture, and if everything came into It's like, wow, Jesus, the power of Jesus for all of people. And so when I saw this film, it just took me back there because it's so beautifully done. It's like, wow, you feel like you're right there in the moment with these people and what they're going through. And it became so real. And so all those things are sort of flooding back. So this feels like something I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I think the phrase "bring the Bible to life" is overused, but I think that's it's true. You know, when you watch something like this, it does
Yeah.
transport you back in time.
Yes, it does.
You spoke about this earlier, Chris. Reassure you might have some viewers who are concerned about the theological accuracy, the biblical accuracy of this movie, The Last
Sure.
Supper. You've commented on this. Kind of just speak to those
Yeah, I'd love to.
viewers and fans. Go ahead.
I'd love to, because I mean that's was if I'm going to put my name behind it, I want it to. I've tried to do that with my music my whole life. I've always take great responsibility for my songs because it's like this is when it comes to songs, when you're putting songs out there, especially in the church, this is what people understand of God through music. It's so powerful. So I've always been like, I want to make sure these songs are right. Well, if I'm gonna,
Yeah.
when it comes to movies, right, people instantly think of Hollywood, right? And you think, well, what does Hollywood know about about the scripture? Well, this is not Hollywood, and these are people who. The producer of this, Michael Scott, met with theologians, met with pastors, showed them scenes. They reshot scenes when they thought it wasn't exactly from different theologians saying, well, you might want to think about this. When Jesus talks in this film, it's pretty much scripture. I mean, it's pretty much just what the scripture is. There's not a lot of outside even words. Now, when they kind of develop Peter, they develop Judas a bit in this, because you don't know exactly what all that, when they're getting from here to there,
Right.
there's some gaps, but it's really, really amazingly grounded and biblically accurate. And what I think is unique about this too, Michael, is that it comes from a place of it really develops Judas more than any movie I've ever seen.
Mm.
And because Judas is the one we don't want to talk about, right? He's like, man, he's like the guy that doesn't fit. But it's very powerful because you see all the temptation, and it's like, how can a guy who's walked with Jesus for 3 years and seen all these miracles and been there and seen all these things, how can he say, I'm going to betray him? And then there's Peter, and the guy who plays Peter in this film is incredible, and just that Peter, you sense that in this movie. Just I'm going to the death with you. There is nobody going to touch you, Jesus. I'm whatever it takes. I'm with you. And then an hour later, I don't know. I don't know who he is, denying him. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking, how much is that? How much is that us?
that's
And
us.
and then at the table, so that's that powerful scene to me when Jesus is at the table and the whole thing culminates with like he's got the bread and he's got the wine. He's like, this is my blood, this is my body, and this is why I came. This is what's about to happen. And he's telling them they're still not getting it. And he said, I'm doing this for you. I'm giving my life for you and for the world. And yet he knows at that table, Peter's going to deny him. Soon he's going to deny him. Jesus is
Mm.
about to betray him. How powerful the forgiveness and love of God in that picture. And I've really never been a Christian most of my life and never really considered it like that. And that this movie brings it out in such a powerful way. And so I think people who might have any kind of skepticism of is this Hollywood, trust me, is not.
No, it's not. It's not Hollywood. I've spoken with Michael Scott multiple times, and he's a solid guy and a solid producer and believer, of course. Partnerships. This movie was produced with partnerships between Pinnacle Peak, Great American Pure Flix, and Grand Canyon from the same producers of The Case for Christ and God's Not Dead. One final question for you here, Chris. Is this a one-time thing for you? Are you in the movie business now?
Would that be so? That would be the biggest turn event of my life. I wasn't expecting this when this wasn't on the goal list, but I love it, and I would love to do more. We'll see. This was one of those things, like I said, with the way the song and the partnership came to be, great surprise for me. I'm open to it. I loved it. You're not going to see me starring in any movies, I can tell you that, but maybe helping getting them out would be something I love doing it. I'd love to do more.
You got my attention. Let me ask you a music question before we close. You have a Worship Under the Stars tour this year. You'll be in Central Park in New York City, Pier 6 Pavilion in Baltimore, and Red Rocks in Colorado. These are outdoor events.
Yes.
How does leading worship in these outdoor venues kind of impact the atmosphere for the
Yeah.
music?
Well, it's beautiful, right? And I think this worship under the stars, this idea we have for this year is just finding some really beautiful, beautiful venues, iconic venues. I mean, Central Park. I've never gotten to play there. I've played around New York, but playing in the middle of Central Park, having a night of worship. I mean, come on. And Red Rocks is one of those beautiful places on earth. It is like God just made an amphitheater for everybody. It's just this beautiful natural place. And I think, when I've played at Red Rock several times, and like you said, like your question said, I always get up there and I think if you can't lead worship here, if you can't help people move people's hearts with music here, you have no business being in the music world because it's already there. You haven't even played a song, and you're just so everywhere you look is breathtaking. And so it just adds, right? God's beauty, His nature, His power, the majesty, and then just an open sky to the.
Yeah.
It's just I'm excited for it this summer.
Anything else coming up that we should know about?
Man, no, I think that's it. I mean, that's
Okay.
working on a new record, working on new music as we speak.
Okay.
I'm in the studio right now, actually. So I'm excited about that.
Next year or the year after or this
It's
year or
going to be
what?
coming out this year. Yeah, I got some
Oh,
songs. I got some songs coming down the pipe. One song, I'll just give a little tease. One song is the oldest. It's coming out in April. It's the oldest hymn um, discovered um, outside of the Bible. The Bible obviously has some songs in it, but this would be the earliest song ever discovered. It's a whole documentary. It's called The First Hymn. It's discovered it's in a vault. It's a scrap of paper in a vault in Oxford. It's from the 200s. Now you got to think the doxology is from the 500s. This is would be the grandparents, the grandchildren of the disciples, basically. You got to think, and it's a scrap of paper, and it's a hymn. Some song. It's some that is just a piece of it. And they asked me and a friend, would you take this and maybe bring this back with these words and a new melody to sing? And so we're launching that this year as well. It's a whole documentary, a whole project. The Museum of the Bible is a part of it. It's really special.
that's exciting. I'm looking forward to checking that out when it comes out. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you, buddy. Great to talk to you.